Okay, good morning to all the students. All of you can see the screen. You're able to see this?
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now we can see.
Okay, fine. Okay. Welcome to this fifth lecture under module 4. In the last class, we have seen how to work with the Java interface, read the data from a Hadoop URL. Using a Hadoop URL, how you can read the data, and reading the data using the file system API directly, and what is the importance of FS data input stream, how this worked as an extension to your Java IO data input stream. In today's class, we are going to highlight on how to write data to the files and how to use FS data output stream while writing the data, and how to create directories. Now, how to write the data to a file. The file system class has a number of methods for creating a file, right? Not only a single write, but it has other overloaded implementations also. So the simplest is a method that takes a path object for the file to be created and returns an output stream to the to write to. Means you should take the path of the file to which the data has to be written, and that will return an output stream to write the data into that stream. So for that, the prototype is the signature of the function is like this: public FS data output stream create path, the file path, and which throws IO exception. Remember, whatever methods you are implementing, either to read the data from the file or write the data to the file, it always throws IO exception. So better make the system handle this IO exception by making it catch that exception. Okay. Now we are using this public FS data output stream. Create a file with the specified path as parameter. Now there are several overloaded versions of this method that allow you to specify various other functionalities, like whether to forcibly overwrite existing files. In some cases, when you are creating a file, if the file is not existing, it will create a new file. But if the file is already existing, it will not overwrite, but it will write at the end of the file, which is already created. It will append to the end of the file, which is already created. But if you want to forcibly overwrite the existing file, still it is possible by using an overloaded version of this create method. And other functionality, type of method is the replication factor of the file also can be specified. Say if you want to create the default replication factor 3, that can be done. Or still, if the data is frequently accessed, or if the data is very critical for the organization, in that case, you can increase the replication factor so that you can store extra copies in case of any data loss or system failures, right? But if you want to make it highly accessible, if that file is frequently accessed, in such case, in order to provide shared access to the file, you can create more copies of it by increasing the replication factor. And the buffer size to use when writing the file. What is this buffer size? If you want to accumulate the data up to these many bytes and then at a time flush it onto the file, write it onto the file, that is called as the buffer size. So the buffer size, how many bytes the data for how many bytes the data has to be accumulated and then written to the file at a stretch. That also can be specified as a parameter. And the block size for the file. The block size for the file is what should be the least unit of data that can be written to that file. That is called as the block size. This is the atomic unit which can be divided further. This is the basic unit of data storage or data transfer, right? This we discussed in our previous sessions about the block size. The storage is in the form of block abstraction. That is what we understood. Now the block size for the file also can be specified, and the file permissions, whether you can grant only read access or write access, or append mode you can grant the permission, or all the three. That kind of file permissions can be granted using various other versions of this create method. Now there is also an overloaded method for passing a callback interface that is progressible. So your application can be notified of the progress of the data being written to the data node. So when the data is being written to the data node, remember you are trying to write large volumes of data. So you may feel it good if you can get notifications back about the progress of the task of writing to the data nodes. So this progressible interface will notify us about the progress of the data being written to the data nodes. For that, what is the template? We are using here the package org Apache Hadoop utilities subpackage, and under this you are declaring this interface. How you defining this interface. How you're doing this public interface progressible, and it has an abstract method progress, public void progress. This progress will help us to keep track of the progress of the data being written to the data nodes. Now, as an alternative to creating a new file, you can append to an existing file using the append method. So if you don't want to create a new file, but you want to add some data to the existing file, already existing file, in that case, instead of using a create method, you can use append method. Okay, for that, the syntax is, the prototype is public fs data output stream, use the append method, and to which file the data has to be appended. That should be passed as parameter by using the path object, and this also throws IO exception. Now the append operation allows a single writer to modify an already written file by opening it and writing data from the final offset in the file. Remember this, when the file is opened in append mode, then the data is written from the final offset in the file. Means where the pointer is left after writing the previous file, from there the appending starts. From there the adding of this new data starts, right? Remember, you are able to work with only single writer in this case. You can't use multiple writers like in OLTP or RDBMS. And with this API, applications that produce unbounded files such as log files can write to an existing file after having closed it. These log files are unbounded, right? So whenever you want to write to the log files, though the file have been closed, if the file is existing, this API will allow us to add the data to these log files even after closing it. And the append operation is optional and not implemented by all Hadoop file systems. This append operation is supported only by some of the Hadoop file systems. Now let us see how to copy a local file to a Hadoop file system. Let us take our data from the local file, from your local system, and write it to the Hadoop file system. How to do that? Let us create a class by the name file copy with progress. This name of the class indicates that you are trying to copy a file along with the progress indication, along with keeping track of how much data is being written to the data nodes, keeping track of the progress of that write task. And you are using the main function for this. And observe this carefully. When we are running this file, when we are running this class, you are taking the first argument as the file name from which you are reading from the local file. The file location from which you are reading the file, that is existing on your local system. Okay, so this local source name has to be given as the first command line argument, and the second command line argument is the destination file. That is the file on your HDFS cluster. Means you're reading a file from your local system and you're writing the file to the HDFS cluster. So the local source is the file name on your local system, and the DST is the file name on your HDFS cluster onto which the file has to be written. Okay. Now you're creating an input stream. Though you're not reading the data from a Hadoop file system, you're reading the data from your local file system. So you have to read the data into an input stream from which the data is further read and written onto a file through the output stream. For that, you have to create input stream object. So you're creating an input stream object, and this is nothing but a new buffered input stream instance. And this takes new file input stream with the local file path as the parameter to create that instance. So it is creating a new file input stream instance that is connected to your local file, and that is being passed as parameter to the buffered input stream, which will store the data, which will buffer the data, which will accumulate the data and writes it to your, in your previous case, standard output, but in this case it is writing to a file on your HDFS cluster. I hope it is clear, right? Now you are also creating a configuration object. This configuration object encapsulates the configuration of client or the server. That is why it is compulsory when you are writing or reading the data to the file or reading the data from the file, you should always create a configuration object and pass it as parameter. Okay. In the next case, you are creating a file system object and invoking the get function by passing the URI and creating the path to the destination. You're creating an object to the destination by passing the configuration object, right? You're creating a file system object and invoking the get method by passing the URI scheme of the file on your HDFS cluster. That is what we mean with this command. Okay, now you're creating an output stream object also. Why? Because you have to read the data through input stream from your local file and write it to the output stream object, which further writes it to the file on your HDFS cluster or on your Hadoop file system. That is why you're creating an output object, and using the create method of the file system, you're passing you're invoking this create method using the file system object fs.create, and you're creating a new path to the destination file that is on your Hadoop file system, and you're also creating a new instance of this progressible interface. Why we are creating this progressible interface instance? If you want to keep track of the data writing task, how much of data is written onto the data nodes, then you have to create this instance of progressible interface, which see the syntax carefully. When you're writing in your exam, you have to observe the syntax carefully and learn it, right? So you're creating a new instance of this progressible interface, which is implementing the progress abstract method. So how you are implementing? Just you are trying to give it as a print method by saying dot. By just giving dot as parameter, means it indicates it as dot dot dot, means it indicates that the process is going on. It is writing the data to the data nodes and the process is going on. To indicate that, we are giving this to the console. We are printing this to the console. Okay. So you are trying to create a new instance of this progressible interface and implementing this abstract method progress by using this statement, right? And you're closing this output stream. Now you're actually writing the data to the file. You're using IO utilities copy bytes method, and you're reading the data from the input stream, that is from your local file, and you're writing it to the output stream, which is connected to your Hadoop file system. And this is the buffer size the buffer, the number of bytes for which the data can be accumulated and then flushed onto the output stream, and true. Here you are trying to close the input stream as well as the output stream implicitly without having to mention it in the finally block, that like we did while reading the data. Right, in reading the data, we have given this specific parameter as false, indicating that the input stream need not be closed implicitly. We will explicitly close it in a finally block. But in this case, because we have many input streams and output streams currently active, we need not take the trouble to explicitly close them by using the finally block. We are making it implicit, we are making them to be implicitly closed by giving the parameter as true, by setting the parameter to be true. Now, in order to run this, we use this command, %hadoop file copy with progress. You are calling this file copy with progress, and you are giving the local source, means the source where the path where your local file is existing, and you're also giving the destination. See, in this case, this is your second command line argument, right? That is the destination URI you're providing here. That is HDFS localhost, because your HDFS cluster is also on your local system. As you're working in pseudo distributed mode, you're specifying the URI of your local system and specifying the destination file path here. So the file is read from your local system and being copied or written onto your HDFS cluster by creating the file with the same name. Okay, the file, this is the file name. Don't get confused. It can be anything. It can be abc.txt, or it can be some calculation.txt. It can be any such name. And remember, this progressible is normally used with MapReduce applications. Why? Because you need to keep track of the MapReduce jobs, how far they are executed. So they'll be normally used with MapReduce applications. And what exactly this FS data output stream does while writing the data to the HDFS cluster. The create method on file system returns an FS data output stream, which, like FS data input stream, has a method for querying the current position in the file. This FS data output stream, it is also an extension of Java IO packages data output stream. And this we discussed in the previous case also. FS data input stream is an extension or specialization of the data input stream class, which belongs to Java IO package. In the same way, this FS data output stream is also a specialization of the data output stream.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah. Tell me.
Screen is not visible, ma'am.
Screen is not visible. 1 second. Is it visible now?
No, ma'am.
Is it visible now? I think it will take 2 seconds. Just wait and see.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, it's loading.
Yeah, ma'am. Now it's visible.
It's visible. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you lose the connection? In this slide, in this slide?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So I can continue from here, not a problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Till here it is visible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this FS data output stream is a specialization of, is an extension of data output stream class, of your Java IO package. Okay, so the create method on file system returns an FS data output stream, which same as FS data input stream has a method for querying the current position in the file. Why the current position has to be queried? Because the create method writes the data to the file. So it has to fetch the current position of the pointer in the file. That is why we have to use this FS data output stream in order to fetch that current position of the file pointer. For that, you are using the same package here, org Apache Hadoop FS, and you are using this FS data output stream class, which is an extension of the data output stream, and it implements an interface called Syncable. Now, under this implementation, we are trying to implement this method get position. This get position method that belongs to this Syncable interface will query the current position in the file. We are just keeping this pending to the later section so that we can just observe the syntax of this get position method. Okay, now this get position method will help us to fetch the current position in the file. But FS data output stream does not permit seeking. Remember this is the important point. FS data output stream does not permit seeking like we do in FS data input stream. While reading the data, you can randomly fetch the data from whatever location you want in the file. But in FS data output stream, because HDFS doesn't support sequential writes, you can't seek to a random position and start writing to the file. You have to write the files only in sequential order. That is why FS data output stream doesn't support seek method. There is no use in using this. There is no value in using this seek method. Why? Because HDFS clusters, HDFS systems doesn't support random writes. It supports only sequential writes. Now, even directories can be created using this file system. File system provides a method to create a directory, and that is mkdirs. The syntax is public boolean mkdirs. Use the path for which where the directory has to be created, and this also throws IO exception. Now, see this. This returns boolean, means if the directory is successfully created, it returns true, otherwise it returns false. Now this method creates all of the necessary parent directories if they don't already exist, just like how we use this Java IO file make dirs method. So this make dirs method of this file system, Hadoop file system, is same as Java IO file system. And it returns true if the directory is successfully created, otherwise it returns false. Now, if you are creating a new file, you need not explicitly create any directories. When you're creating any new file, it automatically creates the related parent directories. Now, coming up in the next session, we are going to see how to query the file system by using file status, file metadata, and how to list the files and use path filters. And also, we'll see how to delete the data from the files. Okay, so we have completed how to the topics of how to write the data to the file and read the data from the file using the Java interface. Any doubts still here?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So when you're going through the contents, if you still have any doubts, you can message me. I'll try to answer. Shall we end the meeting then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for attending this class. We'll meet in the next lecture.